thought he was on a sofa until he started doing the sinking thing, and I was like, huh, why does his sofa have a... Oh, it's a bathtub.
In Chinese.
I took
Yellow
Mandarin classes.
flag. I'm definitely gonna have to edit that one out.
I know
He
all
did
the
it.
time. You think you're being funny?
All right, F1 back in the CCP by Rocket-Powered Mohawk.
Formula One is back in China.
Look at that. Isn't that nice? China, 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 China.
How to name your Asian baby?
Bing, 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 bing. I love
What the-
China.
I love China. In fact, in preparation for the Chinese Grand Prix, I've been learning Mandarin, which apparently is one of the hardest languages to learn. But don't worry,
True.
because here are 12 F1 related phrases and how to pronounce them in Chinese.
I took
Yellow
Mandarin classes.
flag in Chinese
Okay.
is pronounced something Wong.
Something wrong.
Black and white flag is pronounced Yu Chi Ting.
You cheating.
Ferrari strategy is pronounced engine go bang bang.
Engine go bang bang.
Sauber pit stop, how come so long?
How come so long?
George Russell is... I'm not making any of these up.
He's using the Filipino voice.
Yes, I am. George Russell is about to go for an overtake on the final lap of the race. Holy fuck.
Holy f.
Max
Okay, that one's
Verstappen
probably
complains
Chinese.
about his tyres and then sets the fastest lap of the race. Why you lying?
Why you lying?
Hashtag Team
Why you
LH
lying?
is pronounced retardation. Christian Horner has sent you a picture on WhatsApp. I show you my ding dong.
I show you my ding
Toto
dong.
Wolff is
a
pronounced
Chinese accent,
table
yeah.
banger.
I like
Yuki
Toto.
Tsunoda is pronounced tiny Japan man.
Tiny Japan man.
Tiny
Guan Yu
Japan
Zhou
man.
is pronounced Guan Yu Zhou.
China.
And Lance Stroll
I don't know
is
that
Dom
driver.
Fock. Dom Fock! Hello, I'm Dom Fock.
Where's Joel?
Right. I'm definitely gonna have to edit that one out.
I know
He
all
did
the
it.
time. You think you're being funny?
Can we be serious, please? Right, can we be serious? Because it is very exciting that Formula One is back in China.
China.
Here are some fun China moments.
Okay.
Buemi's tyre-saving strategy. At the 2010 Chinese Grand Prix, Sebastian Buemi was approaching the turn 14 hairpin at over 200 miles per hour before
Okay.
both of his front tyres yeeted themselves into oblivion. And what's funny is if you look at the onboard footage, even
Okay.
after both of his front tyres
What the
have
frick?
ceased to exist, he still tries steering out of the slide.
Wait, so why did they do that? Why did the...
The torpedo
Why did the-
incident. At the
Why the
2016
wheels do that?
Chinese Grand Prix, the two Ferraris crashed into each other at the first corner. Sebastian Vettel came on the radio and said it was Danny Kvyat who came down the inside like a madman.
I made contact. I had no chance to avoid. I had the Red Bull coming on the inside like a madman.
However, if you look at the onboard footage, Danny didn't do anything wrong. He sent it down the inside into the first corner, stays on the inside line, and it was actually a combination of Vettel getting a snap of oversteer and Kimi Raikkonen squeezing from the outside that brought the two Ferraris together. After the race, Sebastian and Danny were in the cool-down room together where they had a robust
Danny.
exchange.
You asking what happened at the start. If I don't go to the left, you crash into us and we all three go out.
Well, I was...
No, not well. You came like a torpedo.
Well, it's racing.
Oh, that's racing.
And from that moment on, Danny Kvyat was known as the Torpedo, which I actually think is unfair because, like I said, this incident wasn't really his fault. He did torpedo Vettel out of the race at the Russian Grand Prix, and that was a proper torpedo. And he did a similar thing to Fernando Alonso at the Austrian Grand Prix. He just drove straight into the back of him, which pushed Fernando into Max Verstappen and took both of them out of the race. And then at the British Grand Prix, he tried to go side by side with his teammate Carlos Sainz through Maggots and Beckett's before torpedoing him out of the race. Okay, maybe calling him the torpedo is fair. Alex Albon's comeback. At the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix, Albon twatted his car into the barriers in FP3, causing so much damage the car couldn't be repaired in time for qualifying.
Oh my gosh,
and
that
required
is
a
mega
brand new
damage.
chassis.
Yeah.
So he had to start the race from the pit lane and saw the entire field disappear round turn 1 before he even joined the track. So things weren't looking too good. But then Danny the Torpedo Kvyat fucks it into both McLarens on the first lap.
Why you bullying me?
He was going down the inside into turn 6 with Lando and Carlos on the outside, gets a little snap of oversteer, clips Carlos's front right tyre. That pitches the torpedo into the side of Lando Norris, who almost rolls over. Both of them end up sat in the pit lane waiting for repairs. Carlos needed a new front wing, and because they had some technical difficulties trying to get the bastard to come off, Lando lost so much time sat behind him in the pit lane that both of their races were basically over by the end of the first lap. All of this carnage meant that Alex Albon drove past Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz and up into P18 by the end of the first lap. He spent the rest of the race making his way through the field and ended up finishing 10th. A fine recovery drive with a little help from the torpedo. The 1989 Tank Man. This historical photograph was taken in China. After the CCP and thousands of protesters, a fleet of tanks was leaving the before a man by the name of Wang Weilin stood in their path, forcing them to come to a halt. The FIA gave Wang a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags.
Blue flags. Michael, this guy makes us lose the position.
The Martin Brundle Chinaman controversy. At the Spanish Grand Prix last year, Guan Yu Zhou, who is Chinese, was fighting Nico Hülkenberg and Sushi Tsunoda for 14th place. And while it was happening, Martin Brundle said this.
You learn very quickly that RPM doesn't care about a single thing. Yeah, it seems like it.
Hülkenberg might have a bit of threat from the AlphaTauri. This is a brilliant scrap between these three.
It is, isn't it? The German, the Chinaman, the man from Japan, the man from Finland's not too far away from them either. It's all going on back there. Very cosmopolitan race.
The Chinaman.
A German, a Chinaman, and a man from Japan. Apparently, the term Chinaman is problematic, and people were furious. Martin Brundle, racist comment. Chinaman referring to Zhou. Really? At Formula 1, at Sky Sports News. Martin Brundle used the word Chinaman on describing Zhou. Would you do something about that? I thought racism was not acceptable in F1. Angry face emoji. That's ridiculous. For Martin Brundle to say such a word from his instinct. He is no longer my favourite commentator.
I'm just surprised that he didn't just use the names.
Martin
honestly.
Brundle just say Chinaman WTF? Martin Brundle just said
Sushi
Chinaman on
Tsunoda.
air in 2023. What the hell? Complaint response from Sky on Martin Brundle calling Guan. They sent a strongly worded email.
Michael, I just sent you an email. Did you receive that?
No, I don't access my emails during a race deliberately because I concentrate on the race.
Yeah. No, Mikey, no. That was so not
yes,
right.
Martin Brundle did not mean it in
Twitter
any malice,
moment,
but if
true.
you don't understand the term Chinaman and how it is historically derogatory, I suggest you educate yourself. And no, it's not the same as saying Englishman or Frenchman. Well,
do you guys even know
fair
this?
enough. That is actually a fair point. I, myself, as a strong, independent African-American trans woman, do not understand the Chinese experience. Unless that Chinese experience is delivered on a moped and is served with fortune cookies. But I also believe in accountability. So I agree Martin Brundle should be burned at the stake for his obvious hate crime. And please ignore everything I did at the start of this video. Dumb fuck! Hello, I'm Dom. The Lewis Hamilton Championship critical mistake. There were only 2 races left in the 2007 season, China and Brazil. Before the Chinese Grand Prix, Hamilton had a 12-point lead in the championship and was 17 points ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in 3rd. And remember, these were the days where you only got 10 points for winning a race instead of the 25 they get now. So with only 2 races left and a 12-point lead, it looks like Lewis Hamilton
That's
was going to be the
crazy.
first ever rookie world champion.
But then,
On lap
But
30
then-
of the Chinese Grand Prix, Hamilton dives into the pit lane, overshoots the entry, buries his car in the gravel, and retires. Kimi Raikkonen wins the Chinese Grand Prix with Fernando Alonso in second, cutting Hamilton's lead to just 4 points before the final race of the season.
Oh.
But that's still a solid lead, and Hamilton was still the favourite for the
Giga.
World Championship, unless, you know, everything goes completely tits up at the final race of the season in Brazil.
well, guess what?
At the final race of the season in Brazil, Hamilton locks up going into turn 4 on the first lap and drops down to 8th place.
first lap.
Then he suffers a gearbox problem and drops down to 18th.
Is this the end of the World
No,
Championship dream for Lewis Hamilton?
18th.
He's got problems. He was in 6th place at the point when his engine started cutting out. It sounds okay now. He's down, we believe, in 18th place. So it's gone from bad to worse for Lewis
Oh my
Hamilton.
Then McLaren pulled a
Gosh.
Ferrari strategy by switching him to a 3-stopper, costing him 28 seconds.
Oh
but
my
despite all of this,
gosh.
Hamilton managed to recover to 7th place, and
Oh.
that was almost enough. But with
Wait,
Kimi
McLaren
Raikkonen winning 2
Mercedes?
races in a row at the end of the season,
McLaren
that
Mercedes
meant
were
Hamilton lost the championship by just
single
a
team?
single point. So that mistake
heck?
in China absolutely
Oh.
cost him the World Championship.
Yeah,
And
by a
thank
single
Christ,
point, that's
hashtag
crazy.
Team LH weren't around in those days. Because what do you think the
For-
excuse would have been back
for
then?
LH then, for
Hashtag
LH
gravel is
now.
racist. Hashtag void gravel traps. Hashtag Mickey Mouse gravel trap. Remember when they called Max Verstappen Mickey Mouse world champion? Overshooting
Why?
the pit lane, even on bald tyres, is kind of a silly mistake to make at a critical championship moment. It's almost as bad as, I
Wait,
don't know,
why Mickey
on the
Mouse
final lap
Max?
of the race, you leave the door wide open for your opponent to dive down the inside on fresher tyres. Obviously, I'm trying to trigger Team LH, but also I've watched this clip 1,000 times and I still don't understand why you left the door open. That seems like a silly mistake at a critical championship moment. So Formula
Oh my God, I
One
just realized
is
it's in the
back in the
bathtub.
CCP.
I thought-
and it's a sprint race.
I look, I thought this was a sofa. Like it was like a white sofa. I didn't really see the shine on it. I didn't realize he was in a bathtub. I didn't realize he was in a bathtub. I thought he was in a sofa until he started doing the sinking thing. And I was like, huh, why does his sofa have a... Oh, it's a bathtub.
And it's on at 4 o'clock in the morning, you little bastards. That's 3 races in a row now that have been on at unreasonable times. The Australian Grand Prix was on at 4 o'clock in the morning, the Japanese Grand Prix was on at 6 a.m, and now we have to get out of bed at 4 a.m. just for the pissing sprint. I'm going to move to China. I'm going to move to the CCP, so all of these flyaway races are on at reasonable times. Do you think they'll let me into China? Probably not. After this video, my social credit score is now minus 100,000. Hello,
True.
I'm done.
Okay.
Down to 8.
And let me subscribe. Join the Discord server. I mean, you haven't, by the way. Join the Discord. Become one of us. Join the Discord. Meow.